Still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I can you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there. And I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and I run it back 16 seconds. biggest mistake we ever made.
Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
I'm Martin, you're hot. 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9 on your radio dial, the Martin Houston Show fan page on Facebook, Martin Houston Live. We look forward to interacting with you at Martin Houston 35 on Twitter. And we are so excited to be a part of your morning. So glad that you've chosen to make us a part of your morning. I almost said a beautiful Monday morning, but it is a beautiful Tuesday morning. And we are glad to be back. Hopefully you had an extended weekend and a beautiful 4th of July celebration, celebrating the freedom of this great nation that we have the opportunity to live in and partake in the opportunities that lie before us. Do we have some things to improve on? Yes, but it is still the greatest nation. And to all of those who allow us to say that we live in the United States of America free and whole, we say thank you for making that freedom possible, because free and freedom is never really free. Somebody paid for it. So thank you. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. Had a lot of things over the weekend, and the unfortunate situation of Matisse Kivlenieks, the young hockey player that died in the unfortunate 4th of July accident from fireworks. Praying for him and his family, and a lot of other people I'm sure may have been individually impacted. Still praying for the families down in Miami, as you find more and more, and may all of those families get the closure that they need, desire, and deserve in that situation. So let's remember that. But a lot of other things happening over the weekend. KB Sides announcing her home, her landing place. I was kind of surprised. I have not done any research on the why, but wishing her nothing but the best as she has landed in Arkansas with the Razorbacks to finish out her softball career. And of course, the Milo's thing, they balanced it out when we came on last week. Of course, a lot of conversations around Auburn Bo Nix and his Milo sweet tea deal, and Milo's doing the right thing, I should say, by balancing it out and signing Malachi Moore to a deal. So local guys, Pinson and Hewitt Trustful guys, getting the Milo sweet tea deal. And I think you're probably going to see a lot of that within the state of Alabama. You're going to see quite often one of the other are both unloyal to that particular area. A lot of these endorsements will come from both sides of the aisle, or come after both sides of the aisle, Alabama and Auburn opportunities. Of course, a lot of other players have signed on, and of course the biggest name potentially for Alabama, Bryce Young, signing a marketing deal with CAA group to manage his name, image, and likeness. And so we'll break down the image and likeness. We've not really dug into the advantage, the specifics of the advantage here in just a moment, and dig a little deeper into that. And of course, probably the biggest news from the weekend, Alabama getting a commitment from defensive back Antonio Kite. He committed to the Alabama Crimson Tide to play football on Sunday on the 4th of July. But he's also a dual sport athlete who had received an offer from Nate Oates. And we'll see if that, pans out as well. Well, a lot of that began with the Alabama Crimson Tide football program. Joe, is it really shocking to see how many of the guys is Nate and Saban working together on this recruiting thing more closely, or is it just ironic that they happen to have like interest in the same guys?
Fact that both of them have identifiers and kind of athletic thresholds that they want to meet, and it so happens that a lot of these guys have athletic ability in multiple sports.
And Nick Saban is not a big guy signing one sport guys. I know Urban Meyer you had to be really special for him to sign you as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens, whether any of these guys end up getting to play both sports, even though they were, they're getting that scholarship. They've signed with the football program. It'll be interesting to see if they get any PT on the court in terms of basketball and had that opportunity, because it really works out well for Nate Oates if Saban actually allows them to come over and play a little bit, because he's getting more bodies without having to, and he's getting scholarship worthy guys without having to put a scholarship out. So it'll be interesting to watch that. And with the recent activity at the end of last week with Primo heading to the NBA and Shackelford heading to the transfer portal, depth could become an issue. I still think he has more depth than he had when he got here, but you lose those guys, you definitely lose a big part of your team. Have you heard any more about potentially why Shackelford may have entered the portal?
Everything I've heard about Shackelford and the transfer portal seems to stem from the fact that J.D. Davison and Javon Quinterly and Namari Burnett have seemed to have strong camps. Shackelford was the leading scorer on the Crimson Tide last season and was still not invited to the NBA Combine. I have heard that maybe his father was not quite happy with the production, with where he is so far in his development, and with multiple guys coming up nipping at your heels for that playing time, it looks like some of his opportunities may have been a little more limited this coming year, and that may not have sat well with their hopes or with their eyes on the NBA.
That is, to me, that is so great. You're the leading scorer for a program that what your skill set's going to get the highlight. I mean, I understand things could change a little bit, but you are coming off of a team that's going to end up with 3 NBA draft picks, and you were the number 1 guy in scoring. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I had not heard that part about the dad, but I thought maybe it was a little bit of the getting chased down from behind that you described in terms of J.D. Davison and Namari and of course Quinterly, who I felt like Quinterly, even though it worked out well last year. Joe, do you think Quinterly would be as much of a team player if he ends up on the bench again. And I
expect Javon Quinterly to be a big time team player. I know that in the early part of the season, maybe he struggled with that, and then kind of bought into that role. But I think that he's ready to be that point guard, that leader, but kind of split between he and J.D. Davison.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is I don't know that he would want to go back to that role. I don't know that I don't know anything. I'm not being negative towards the young man. I just know that part of his reason for leaving Villanova was PT, and of course he was a rookie, a freshman, and whatever, and had transferred. So I don't think he's going to transfer out. I'm just happy he'll be if not the starter, considering how he played as a sixth man. Though it seemed like he found his role and his niche, and would be, was a great role for him. But never know with these egos, and I'm not, when I'm saying egos here, I'm not being negative in terms of the ego. So I'm just saying that, the ego is not always a bad thing. I know when we hear that word, we always think negative. I want a guy that wants to compete and think he should be the starter, especially at that point guard position. It's sort of like, would you want a quarterback, Joe, that didn't have an ego? Now, it could be an ego out of control. And when I'm saying ego, I'm talking about a confident player that believes in his ability. And I think Quinterly definitely will be just that. We got a lot to get to, especially with this name, image, and likeness. We got some recruiting. We can have more recruiting conversations around Antonio Kite. What is Alabama getting in him? Alabama also made the top 3 in another big-time player for the state of Alabama. We'll have that conversation. We'll have Pat on the other side. If you want to get in on the conversation, please do so. And as I promised, we'll get to the name, image, and likeness guidelines around the advantage. And I put a question up last night. There's been a lot of pros to this, but are there any cons to this name, image, and likeness that people want to get to that other than just the fact it's going to be a distraction? That's what I keep hearing. We will move right along. And for those who may be wondering, there's no DC today. DC will be rejoining us. Maybe try to get him on later this week if we can work that out, but he will not be on with us today. So the airwaves and the phone lines and the chat lines are all yours today, listeners. So make sure that you join into the conversation. 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. The Taco Casa hotline is open for business. Would love, would love for you to be a part of the conversation. 205-342-9904.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we start our Tuesday morning drive. No wrecks, no delays. If you do see conditions throughout the morning, just give us a call. 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, and SUVs. Go by and see them, and they want your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Brought to you by Indeed. Indeed's Instant Match searches through millions of resumes in Indeed's database to deliver candidates who fit your job description instantly. More at Indeed.com/credit.
Power your passions during Dell's Black Friday in July event with up to $400 off the latest Dell XPS computers and Alienware systems, all powered by Intel Core processors. Save on top brand electronics plus free shipping on everything. Just call 800-BUY-DELL. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
Townsend Nissan Tuscaloosa has your next vehicle ready for you today with offers like this. The Murano luxury SUV with rates as low as 0.9% up to 75 months. New 2021 Kicks crossover starting at only $19,990. And yes, the all-new Sentra has finance rates as low as 1.9 for up to 75 months. Now that's savings for you, the consumer. And yes, you still get Townsend Nissan's lifetime powertrain warranty warranty, and Townsend Nissan has the best selection of new vehicles in town. Shop TownsendNissan.com, or best of all, y'all come us today.
Weather brought to you by Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor in Tuscaloosa with over 22 years experience. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-7503.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather becoming more humid today. Partially sunny. We'll have the chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mainly this afternoon and this evening. The high today 86, tonight's low 71. Tomorrow cloudy at times with scattered to numerous showers and storms, the high 83. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 72 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, Martin, here we go. Your hot 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show on Tide 100.9. If you're just now joining the program, this is normal where we bring in DC Capstone Report. I'm going to need you to help us keep things rolling. You can do that by calling us at 205-342-9904 or post your thoughts, comments on the chat screen or your comment screen on your social media outlet, whichever one you're following us on, whether it's the Facebook Live page or Twitter. Also will be adding Instagram to the mix. So please chat us up. Let us know pros and cons. We're looking for pros and cons to name, image, and likeness. Of course, big news for several players coming off of the weekend. A local apparel company appears to have partnering with 3 players. There's a lot of guys getting deals or promoting their deals, and a lot of those guys are not big name players. It seems to be kind of spreading itself out. Even saw where Pierce Quick is with Barstool. He's a Barstool athlete. So hey, who knows if this name, image, and likeness is just going to be starters or whether it'll keep backup guys on the team or not. Pros and cons for those from you. We'll go through some of the specific details of the do's and don'ts from the Advantage program that Alabama has put together, and hopefully every other program is putting together out there. So let's get to Pat. Pat, you in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. First off, I hope you had a great 4th of July. Did anybody burn any ribs for you, man, over the weekend?
No, we had a unbelievable fellowship at our church. We use something at our church. We used to do it till COVID called Meal and a Message. But Sunday we had our second baptism in a row. We had some people that couldn't make it the prior week, so had baptism, and then we had 4th of July Freedom Fest. But we did not have ribs. We had some awesome Boston butt done by Colby Richardson. That's one of our listeners, Virgil Williams, and one of my members' sons.
Any chance they were cooked on a Red Tech grill?
Huh?
Any chance they were cooked on a Red Tech grill?
I'm not sure what kind of grill it was on. I can ask Virgil and see.
I'm just messing with you. That's one of the sponsors in the afternoon. Anyway, first off, I want to apologize to everything that goes quack around the world. I thought for sure the Ducks had bought JTT, and I guess they lied to him and told him that the 60,000 students in Ohio that just means more, But he still can go into the transfer portal at any time, and I have a grassroots program starting this March, going from door to door taking pictures of pool parties of girls in bikinis and telling them what I'm going to do so they don't think I'm a pervert.
Well, they probably still gonna think that, but do what?
I said, if that won't work, nothing will. What do you think?
I don't know, Pat. I'm gonna stay away from that one.
That was pretty good. Hey, there's up there. He's gonna be in the snow in March.
Yeah,
I just wanted to come mess with you there about JTT going to Ohio. But
what do we get? I mean, I can't believe you're not saying anything about the Antonio Kite kid and
hey, look, these guys are great. From what I understand about Kite, that he is a phenomenal athlete and can play multiple positions
and multiple sports. And multiple sports.
Positions football. Besides that, the kid's going to have to be, they all talking about just playing two sports. I played baseball in college, and the amount of travel time that we had with baseball, that I was able to keep my grades up. I never made anything less than a B. However, it was extremely difficult. Extremely. And for a kid to do two sports at the University of Alabama, not only is he going to have to be focused, he's going to have to be pretty brilliant too. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think it's based on how it's done. If he's allowed to do the other sport, then it's no different, really, unless they try to make him do both sports at the same time. I think basketball would be one of the hardest sports to play, period, because your games are, throughout the week and on the weekend, where in football, it's difficult because it's demanding, but you can kind of look at your schedule and know if you got a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, kind of when you can do your work, and you have, at worst case, if you don't do anything, you still have that Sunday to get caught back up. And if you, on your Thursday class, you have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday and Monday to get caught back up. So where in basketball, it's, kind of a little more demanding as far as scheduling. Same thing with baseball.
Back when I was going to school, I think we went to school almost every day, except Friday.
You talking about in college?
Yeah, in college.
Yeah, I mean, most of the classes now Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday scheduling, so they can manage it a little bit better. So I wouldn't say that he couldn't handle it, but it would be really like based on.
It's very difficult. Yeah,
it'd be difficult. It's difficult to do one sport and maintain, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how that all works out, Pat. So.
I guess yes, we always took our harder classes when it wasn't baseball season.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Have a blessed day, Mr. Houston, and we'll talk to you next week, sometime later in the week.
All right. You do likewise. Just a heads up, I got a question on chat regarding SEC Media Days. Curtis Moore II said he's been out of pocket, asking about when SEC Media Days are. Right now, everything is scheduled Monday, July 19th, Thursday, July 22nd, and we'll be looking more into SEC Media Days and who you think Alabama's going to have to go up and represent them. Also, from earlier in the program, Cindy Bradley, happy for Malachi. He carries a lot more credibility with Milo's. I'm assuming more credibility with Milo's than Bo Nix. Malachi won't be benched by October. I guess Cindy is saying that Bo Nix is going to lose his job. So we'll see. Here's Virgil Williams talking about a potential con of the name, image, and likeness will be the boosters who tries to do a roundabout with the name and likeness and does something still outside of the parameters set forth, that's definitely a possibility, Joe. But listen to, before we to that specific name, image, and likeness, the Alabama University of Alabama reported their recruiting violations last week. Have you seen the list of what's a violation?
I saw the 5 violations that Alabama self-reported across a couple of different sports.
Yeah, that's. I mean, listen to this. Is why people think that NCAA is irrelevant and stupid. Okay, Alabama football had it's a violation because not because of what they did, but because of the 30-mile radius from campus. And I understand maybe that's to protect the student athlete, but it's a violation, and they made them pay it back to a charity, the travel and entertainment costs associated with the trip. And when you live in Tuscaloosa, you really either stay in Tuscaloosa and that's about as far as you can go. In softball, and stay within the 30 miles. In softball, a coach endorsed an instructor on Twitter, and then that instructor posted that on his website. And of course, he got a letter and a warning, and then he had to take that down from his website. And now the staff is prohibited from contacting recruits affiliated with that particular coach. So who's hurt in that scenario, Joe? The kid. I mean, you're punishing a recruit that did nothing wrong. So the coach posted it, the university endorsed it, but the recruit is hurt. Same thing in gymnastics. Gymnastic program violated NCAA rules when it posted a graphic to social media that endorsed an event involving recruits. The post was immediately removed and was educated about the rules. Once again, university endorses an event. The social media post goes down. Recruits are impacted in the event. The final 2 violations involve a women's soccer program, and in 3 separate occasions, coach responded to a recruit's email before an allowable date. Letters of admonishment were sent, and the program is now prohibited from contacting the recruit for 60 days. So, once again, now, I'm of the mindset, Joe, that there's still rules, right? So you still follow the rules. I'm not saying that these things should not be enforced, because they're what? They're still the rules. So you still have to follow the rules. But some of the rules still need to be pushed to be changed. So I hope that the name, image, and likeness is not where people start, because those rules right there will cause more opportunities to be lost than name, image, and likeness. Would you agree?
Yes, I think I think that those opportunities, if you're skirting the rules, if you're not following the rules of name, image, and likeness, then you will probably, it'll hurt you. It'll hurt you off the field. You're probably going to get suspended, and you're probably, it'll cost you more than the gain than you'll gain.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've heard much about was it Reggie Bush trying to go back and get his Heisman?
Reggie was trying to get his Heisman back, and if that will lead to a lot of other athletes and other coaches trying to get wins reinstated or trying to get records restored.
Well, hey, listen, if he wins it, Joe, I'm going to go back and sue for the money I would have made from that job that I had went through the process to get get hired on to and see if I can't see, and then go back and look at all those times I went to church and spoke, and go back and figure out how much I would have charged. And I mean, listen, here's my philosophy on that before we get to break. First of all, Reggie Bush was a lot more than I heard that he's trying to say. Well, all I did was sign a few autographs. Well, no, Reggie, there was a lot more to your story than autographs, and a lot more people benefited than just his name, image, and likeness. Okay, there's some guidelines about family and all of that benefiting from name, image, and likeness. Bryce Young's dad can't be getting an endorsement deal based his name, image, and likeness. Okay, so there are still some guidelines, and Virgil Williams did say that there may be some boosters that will go outside of the rules and outside of the lines, because when parents and families start getting things, then you're probably giving it to them in order to directly, without a doubt, entice them to go to your particular school that you support. So I am not a fan. Now, what I do believe, Joe, that may happen is any of the guys who started this argument, what was it, 2006, maybe 7, when the case started about the name, image, and likeness, somewhere in that time frame. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys, in that path where the NCAA fought against it and now it's proved. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys don't. But if it was not raised officially before, then I definitely don't see it going back. But it is possible, I guess, that some name, image, and likeness could get caught up and brought back into from the past. But my philosophy, whether it's football, whether it's drugs, whether it's personal property, whatever, speed limits or whatever, if it's the rules, you follow the rules and then you fight to change them. But as long as the rule exists, you need to follow, unless it's doing something to hurt a child or putting someone in harm's way. Then you make sure that you make the right choice in terms of that. But anyway, coming back on the other side, we'll continue. We're going to come straight out of the break with some name, image, and likeness conversation around the advantage, going over some of the guidelines and parameters at the University of Alabama has set up. You're listening to, and we thank you so much for that. If you want to show your support, go out and check out our great sponsors that make this possible each and every day. And nobody does it any better than Overflow Express Wash, overflowexpresswash.com. 2 locations in Tuscaloosa and Northport to better show you. That's overflowexpresswash.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we start our Tuesday morning drive. No wrecks and no delays. If you do see conditions throughout the morning, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars to SUVs. Go by and see them. Watch your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team, you are part of their team.
The perfect place to make it. Golden Moon offers 600 finely appointed rooms with incredible views. Take a dip in our Vegas-style infinity pool, complete with a full-service bar and cabanas. Experience the South's premier golf destination at Dancing Rabbit Golf Club, or catch the biggest sporting events at Time Out Lounge. So what are you waiting for? Come see us in Choctaw, Mississippi. Golden Moon Hotel and Casino, a Pearl River Resort property.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is
pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now he speaks Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BBEL.com.
Nick Saban calls it process. John Maxwell said that everything rises and falls. And Coach Wooden said it's what you learn after you think you know it all that makes the difference. What am I talking about? Leadership and personal development. Is your organization, your school, your church, your family, are they receiving the proper level of leadership development, personal development? If not, the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring can help you with that. We have our Pep Talks, which is a 1 to 1.5 hour lunch and learn, which we can customize to meet your needs, or we have some topics that we present that we know can help your organization. And if you're looking for one-on-one mentoring and coaching, we can also assist you with that. Visit peptalks35.com, that's pep35.com, or send an email to martin@martinhouston.org. That's the Empowerment Center for Leadership and Mentoring.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Alabama won. Go check them out for Refi, Reduce, and Ride. It is our new promotion that's kicking off for this quarter. We beat or match your rates for your auto, refi, reduce, and ride. Plus, you'll get up to $250 cash back. Rates 1.99. No payments. You can go to alabama1.org and get all the great details and even apply right there online. And once you do that, you can step right over or reach out to the insurance agency at Alabama One Insurance, and we will review your policy, reduce your premium, and you can relax knowing that you're properly covered. So, and that's alabama1insurance.com. Call it 205-342-9904. Alabama One together. All right. Virgil Williams saying, what's the rule about a player doing an endorsement and using teammates for the commercials and those teammates not being signed by that product but getting paid? This could be another con. And he had scenario. Malachi Moore does a Milo's commercial with several of his teammates. When me and my fellow teammates take a break, we enjoy the smooth, cool Milo's tea. Well, quick sidebar, Joe. Have you noticed how much free publicity Milo has gotten off of signing Bo Nix and Malachi Moore?
Yeah, tons of free publicity. You know, everybody from Alabama fans are all up in arms about it. Both cheering their guy on and kind of like dogging the other guy. So yeah, they got tons of it.
They're getting tons and tons of free. I mean, I've mentioned Milo's probably 5 times this morning. So you know, so that brilliant move. But to answer that question real quick, I don't think that those players can be paid unless now they don't have to be signed by Milo's as a representative. But I think if Milo's is going to use them in a commercial, I think Milo's would be required speak with the university and get that put in, because the players, if you go through and look at the advantage, student athletes must utilize compass platform to disclose agreements and contracts, and even though they may not be signed by them, they would still be subject to be paid in that particular shoot, and would need to make sure that they go through the proper channels in order to compensate those players. Now, I guess players could be in the commercials potentially and not be paid and would not have to do anything. But if Milo's strokes a check to the players, then they would need to get that done. Here's a couple of things that some are obvious and some may need a little bit more explanation in terms of name, image, and likeness. Employees of the University of Alabama may not compensate or arrange any compensation deals to a current or prospective student athlete for his or her name, image, or likeness. So, no, it cannot come officially from the university, Joe. But the fact that they put current or prospective student athlete makes me think that it is. I still have not gotten clarity, and maybe you have. Can name, image, and likeness be used at the high school level? Because they're saying, huh?
I don't see why not. I'm with you that I haven't heard it explicitly said that it can, but because of the rules, the way it's structured, I don't see why not. You start capitalizing off your name, image, and likeness. If you're a guy like Zion Williamson was when he was
right,
such a star in high school, I'm sure that they can. There's nothing stopping them.
Right, because that's why I tried to tell someone. Someone was like, "No, man, it'd be a violation." I'm like, "Why is it a violation?" The reason that was a violation before is because of the NCAA, not because of the high school. And I may have to find out. I may talk to a couple of high school coaches and see if they know, because they're saying Arch Manning will make $10 million his freshman year. I'm like, well, he may be making 2 or 3 by the time he gets out of high school if we keep talking about him. Unless there's a rule against it. Now, the university can't do it, and the employees of the university can't, but why come a business couldn't? So compensation must be commensurate with the market value. And all that's saying is that you cannot go out and overpay for a player more than you would typically pay based on that. But isn't market value based on demand when it comes to endorsements, Joe? I mean, that's going to be one of those vague ones that's going to be like, well, if you're giving them a job, or if it's something you can easily say, this is what this person gets, and you pay everybody that, and then all of a sudden you pay a player, double that, then maybe. But if it's a endorsement type of thing, I mean, one guy gets endorsed for this much and another guy based on his market value. How do you say the value of Evan Neal versus Bryce Young? Right? I mean, wouldn't you say that Bryce Young is of a lot more market value? But how do you set that? So
you would guess that Bryce is probably more valuable, but it's all up to whoever signs it. If I'm the one signing the deals and I like Evan Neal better, just because for whatever he strikes a better chord with me, it's up to whatever these players can get.
Right, and that's why I'm like commensurate with. And so in a lot of these cases, market value is subjective to whoever's doing the signing. And like you said, when you look, who would think that Pierce Quick would be one of the first people to sign with Barstool off of Alabama's team? I mean, I didn't see that coming. And then you have, Paul Tyson already has signed, for some NIL. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all works out. It's not permissible to compensation to be provided in exchange for athletic performance or attendance at the University of Alabama. That is common sense, but will they be able to draw a line clearly between what a player gets versus whether it was for him coming to Alabama or not? I don't know how they'll be able to enforce that or not, especially if prospective student athletes, the way they listed it in number one, is allowed to get compensation for NIL? How can you say that it wasn't to attend the University of Alabama? Back in the day, I remember Eric Dickerson. They said Eric Dickerson took a pay cut when he came from college to the pros, but when he was coming from high school, I know he got multiple things in the recruiting process, but no one could tell on him, Joe, because if they told on him, then when he chose SMU, all the big schools would have had to tell on themselves for violating the rules, so he got away with it. So compensation can come in the form of money, goods, or services. We can talk more about that if you want to, but got to get the break here, stay on track, and we got Robert from Mobile. We'll continue to break down these specifics and dig into them. If you have any questions, you can go to rolltide.com, sports 2021, and click on name, image, and likeness and see these details and things that I'm reading. We'll break them down a little bit more on the other side, and we'll also get to Robert from Mobile, that conversation on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, everything pretty quiet as we start our Tuesday morning drive. No wrecks, no delays. If you do see conditions throughout the morning, just give us a call, 205-886-8886. Townsend Nissan has an amazing selection of new cars, trucks, and SUVs. Go by and see them, and they want your trade. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread. Good morning. That lawsuit over $94,000 back rent that would have left Tuscaloosa Northport without a movie theater has been dismissed at the request of both parties. It had been moved from circuit court to district court, but since that time, property owner APR Tuscaloosa LLC and CMX Cinemas Hollywood 16 have come to an agreement that leaves the theaters operating. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for the latest on news, sports, and weather locally. It's free. I'm Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Do you remember a time that you would go to the drive-in movie theater and have a blast as a kid? You can pass on the experience to a new generation every Saturday at dusk at Government Plaza. We are showing a movie in the park on a 30-plus foot screen. Our next movie is Back to the Future. We have food vendors on site. This is your chance to bring out the kids and enjoy a family-friendly event, and it's free thanks to our sponsors, Pepsi, Bryant Bank, Tuscaloosa Tourism and Sports, Burnham Pond Exterminators, the City of Tuscaloosa, and Town Square Media. Join us Saturday, July 10th at Government Plaza.
Attention business owners, if your biggest question is, how can I find more customers? Then Town Square can help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis that will show you how the most successful businesses grow and how you can do it too. These strategies are simple and we can show you how to apply them to your business. Be one of the first businesses to sign up and you'll receive $500 in free advertising on this radio station. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, Martin, you're hot. 3, 2, 1.
All right, as we were going to break there, we were going over a few of the specifics of the name, image, and likeness from The Advantage. What a brilliant name by Burns and Company, The Advantage. Will Alabama use name, image, and likeness as a huge and distinct advantage? And if they manage it properly, yes, it will become another huge advantage for Alabama. We got Robert from Mobile. Robert, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, where'd you say to go to look that up? The name, image, and likeness stuff?
You can go to rolltide.com and sports /sports / and then it's the date, June 28, 2021, but they have it in reverse order, 2021 /6 /28. And then on that page, you'll be able to see name, image, and likeness.
Well, let's see if you answer this for me. Why, all these years, what was supposed to be the rationale for the NCAA to deny athletes the ability to cash in on their name, image, and likeness? What was the rationale behind it?
They said,
what was the rationale?
well, supposedly, if you received any type of compensation outside of a scholarship, it would cost you your amateur status. That was one of their biggest things. That's why when you look at Judge Kavanaugh's comments, even though they weren't talking about name, image, and likeness and compensation, he said, first of all, you can't limit education. You can't even limit the way you've been limiting scholarships, even though you say that that's the only thing you're going to give them. You've been limited unfairly. And then he went ahead and addressed, you got to stop hiding behind this amateur status is what you're trying to protect in terms of college athletics. So that was one of their biggest things, Robert, is that it would hurt amateurization of the sport, and it would hurt the sport. That's the only. I mean,
so that's how they define being an amateur. The fact that nobody paid you, not that the schools weren't paying you, that absolutely nobody.
No compensation. No compensation.
How do they come to that? Or they rather just
when people start talking about it was going to ruin the sport, correct me if I'm wrong, aren't the Olympics considered amateurs? But yet somehow they have endorsements?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how they're considered amateurs. We're more professional than these people. They just create the idea of amateurs don't pay the players anything.
It was the greatest business.
That's what they were sticking with all these decades.
Yes, the greatest business model ever designed is college sports, especially college football. I mean, could you imagine Jeff Bezos if he could do what he did and not have to pay his employees except for their food, room, and board?
So then you brainwash the fans into thinking that, you don't want to pay them. If you pay them, then they won't play as hard. Or they won't do that. So then you brainwash all of us into believing, what's all hard to be? You think the people that are on the world, they shouldn't get anything for it.
Yeah, I mean,
that's amazing.
And to me, I'm not necessarily a big fan of paying the players in terms of as long as it's set up the way it is. Now, if they make some modifications, then maybe. But I'm okay with name, image, and likeness. I'm okay with me being able to use my name, my brand, my marketing, my ability to go out and do an autograph session. But here's one of the things that I'm concerned about. That one of the cons, Robert, and I know this happens because of having been in the world. Okay, back before players could get really compensated for that, you could get some compensation, but it was limited. I guess in terms of autograph sessions, the guys would get all of these pictures. They get the players to sign them, and they tell them they had this big day set up for them, and then people wouldn't show up, but the guy who had the event would keep the pictures. And then you know what he did? And then he'd go put them in his shop and sell them. and the players would walk away and their day was done, but they couldn't get fair market value for what they just did. So that's one of the cons. Huh?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, the rationale behind it was just bizarre. I mean, because you make up a rule of what an amateur is. It's you entirely.
Right.
And then you brainwash the rest of us and believe, well, that's what an amateur is. And, all you use the Olympics for the good point. I don't know if we pay, I guess they give the Olympic athletes some stipends of some sort.
No, I mean, I think Olympics can have endorsements. I think they've always been, but they were still considered amateurs. So,
right, and like I guess the Olympic Committee or somehow they get a little money from not a whole lot,
right.
But the rest of it was on the door.
Right, but of course, they were able to benefit from that. And there's some guidelines around this name, image, and likeness, and we'll continue to get to those as we go throughout this week and continue to break it down. This is going to be a moving target for a while, and I appreciate you, Robert. You got anything else before I let you go?
Oh no, that's music.
Thanks, Robert. Appreciate it. Yep, we have been duped into thinking that name, image, and likeness will ruin college football. It's yet to be seen, but it's definitely out of the gate now, and we will follow it here on the Martin Houston Show and on Tide 100.9. So make sure you stay tuned for great programming that happens all day long from 6 to pretty much 7 at night, all day long, right here on your home for Alabama sports. I'm Martin Houston. That's Joe Gaither. Thanks to the callers, listeners, chatters, and followers for being a part of the program. Martin Houston Show, the sound of Alabama sports, your show, your team. And remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9
Have a good day, sir.
And streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.